Hello students, welcome to poem number 5, The Schoolboy, written by William Blake. William Blake was an English poet. He was born on the 28th of November 1757. He was a painter, printmaker. He was largely unrecognized during his lifetime, but now he is considered as a very important figure in the history of the poetry and visual arts of the Romantic Age. Some of his famous poems are The Tiger, The Lamb, and Did Those Feet in Ancient Times. Now, let us go to the poem, The Schoolboy, written by William Blake. The schoolboy in the poem is not a happy child. What makes him unhappy? Why does he compare himself to a bird that lives in a cage or a plant that withers when it should blossom? I love to rise in a summer morn when the birds sing on every tree. The distant huntsman winds his horn and the skylark sings with me. Oh, what sweet company! But to go to school in a summer morn, oh, it drives all joy away. Under a cruel eye outworn, the little ones spend the day in sighing and dismay. Ah, then at times I drooping sit and spend many an anxious hour, nor in my book can I take delight, nor sit in learning's bower, worn through with the dreary shower. How can the bird that is born for joy sit in a cage and sing? How can a child, when fears annoy, but droop his tender wing, and forget his youthful spring? Oh, father and mother, if buds are nipped and blossoms blown away, and if the tender plants are stripped of their joy in the springing day by sorrow and care's dismay, how shall the summer arise in joy, or the summer fruits appear? Now that we have read the whole poem, let us go back to stanza 1. The Schoolboy is a poem written in pastoral tradition that focuses on the downsides of formal learning. It considers how going to school on a summer's day drives all joy away. So here, the first stanza, I love to rise in a summer morn when the birds sing on every tree. The distant huntsman winds his horn and the skylark sings with me. Oh, what sweet company! The speaker of the poem is a schoolboy who loves to rise, that means to wake up in summer mornings when the birds are singing on the trees. The boy gets entertained by the company of the hunter who blows his clarion, that means he blows the horn, and that can be heard very clearly from a distance, a field, and sweet lullabies of the skylark. But the thing that he does not like is going to school, which pulls at his happiness and joy. He is tired and even puzzled. Okay, so now we go to the second verse. But to go to school in a summer morn, oh, it drives all joy away. Under a cruel eye outworn, the little ones spend the day in sighing and dismay. So as we can see, children, the boy is tired and puzzled under the strict supervision of the teacher. Instead of enjoying the pleasures of summer, the child has to spend many tensed hours in the school nor in the garden, where he can learn many things in an interesting way. Ah, then at times I drooping sit and spend many an anxious hour, nor in my book can I take delight, nor sit in learning's bower, worn through with the dreary shower. So the boy in this classroom is more interested in escaping his classroom than he is with anything his teacher is trying to teach him. So here we can see the next verse. How can the bird that is born for joy sit in a cage and sing? How can a child, when fears annoy, but droop his tender wing and forget his youthful spring? So children, here we can see that the little boy is saying that a bird is born for joy. A bird is born to fly in the sky, to be free and to sing songs of freedom. So he's saying, how can a bird who is, God has created the bird for joy, for enjoyment, for happiness. So how can that bird sit in a cage and sing? You cannot expect a cage bird to sing. So in the same manner, how can a child, when he is afraid, he goes to school, the teachers are strict, he has to sit in front of the watchful eye of the teacher. So how can a child, when fears are annoying him, are making him annoyed, but droop his tender wing and forget his youthful spring? So it makes him forget all his natural enthusiasm to do things, to go outside and be out in the midst of nature. He forgets everything because he has to go to school and study. So he says, O father and mother, if buds are nipped and blossoms blown away, and if the tender plants are stripped of their joy in the springing day by sorrows and cares dismay. So here we can see, children, the poet is saying, he is asking his mother and father, he says that, O mother and father, if suppose there are flower plants and there are buds coming, and if they are nipped and the flowers are blown away, if the tender plants are stripped of their joy in the springing day, that means what is the joy of the plant? To have buds and to have flowers, and then it is happy when those buds bloom. So the same way, if those buds are nipped, if they are like, halfway, if they are, instead of blooming, they are like blown away by the wind, then of their joy there will be no joy. There will be only sorrow and cares, means worries. How shall the summer arise in joy, or the summer fruits appear? So the child is saying, a bird can never sing a sweet song when he is caged. Similarly, a child, if he remains under the umbrella of annoying fear and tension, the skepticism of his teacher can never enjoy the natural instincts of joy and playfulness. In the last stanzas, he tries to make his parents understand that if a budding child is picked and swept off in the early stage of life, where there is no one to care for him, then how can he grow into a mature plant? In lines 16 to 20, a child in school is compared to a bird in a cage, meaning something that was born to be free and in nature is instead trapped inside and made to be obedient. Now, the meanings of the poem. Outworn means out of date. Then, sighing means to breathe out. Dismay means to be very shocked. Drooping is to hang down as though one is very tired. Anxious is to be worried. Bower is climbing plants in a garden. Dreary is uninteresting. And nipped is to destroy at an early age of development. And stripped is to remove all coverings. So, children, here I hope you have understood this poem. The child is very happy to wake up during summer because all of nature is beautiful. There are flowers, there are birds, the sun is shining, and so he feels very happy to wake up from sleep. But the very thought that he has to go to school, that dampens his enthusiasm, and he feels that he does not want to go to school. So he keeps on saying to go to school drives all the joy away, because he feels that the parents and the elders are very cruel, and all day long they have to stay there in the school. It's as though they are put in prison in one place and made to work, when their heart and soul is like longing to go outside and be there in the bright sunshine in the midst of nature, climbing trees, watching the birds and the bees and the insects. So he thinks that, what am I doing when I long to be free and I long to sing and dance and make merry and be outside? Here I have to be in a class and made to do things by rote memory. So he does not like it one little bit, and he looks at the birds who are free and singing, and he thinks that I am like a caged bird. How can my parents and teachers expect me to sing or to learn or to do anything with happiness? All the happiness is gone away. So he asks father and mother, he questions them that if the buds are going to be nipped and blossoms are going to be blown away just before they are in their youth, then how can you expect, summer to arise in joy or summer fruits to appear? That means, how can a child's life be fruitful if he has to go through this kind of discipline, if he is not given the freedom to bloom, if he is not given the freedom to develop his character, to develop his nature, where he feels that he can be outside? Children, have you heard of Shantiniketan? Well, it is a school in West Bengal that was started by Rabindranath Tagore, and it has an alternative kind of education where children are not made to go and sit in classrooms, but they can be sitting under a tree out in a garden and learning things of their choice. What a wonderful way! So we have had this child's longing that he has in his heart was answered by Rabindranath Tagore. He too might have felt that children can learn best when they are happy, when they are free, when there is a sense of freedom. So we have had this kind of schooling in our country itself, in West Bengal. So you can learn something more about this kind of an education. Now let us have a look at the question and answers. Find 3 or 4 words in stanza 1 that reflects the child's happiness and joy. So let us go back to stanza 1. The happiness is, I love to rise. Then birds sing on the tree. The huntsman winds his horn. The skylark sings, and what sweet company. So these are the phrases in the first stanza. Then in stanza 2, the mood changes. Which words or phrases reflect the change of mood? So in the first stanza we can see that the child is very happy, but then there is a change of mood. Then drives all joy away, a cruel eye outworn. The little ones spend the day in sighing and in dismay. So these are the lines that tell you that there is a change in mood of the schoolboy. Then a cruel eye outworn, stanza 2 refers to the classroom, the lessons, the dull, uninspiring life at school. So which one does it talk about? A cruel eye outworn. The lessons which are difficult or uninteresting. So which one are they talking about? Well, the dull, uninspiring life at school with lots of work and no play. Then, so the third one is the right answer. Nor sit in learning's bower, worn through with the dreary shower. Which of the following is a close paraphrase of the lines above? He says, nor can I learn anything at school, though teachers go on lecturing and explaining, because his heart and soul is outside. Then there are also some other questions that I am going to ask you. I hope you can just think of the answers. Why does the child hate going to school? Yes, children, why do you think that the child hates going to school? Well, the child hated going to school because there is very strict control of the teacher, and he feels as though he is caged. And how does the child's happiness turn into sorrowfulness, into sorrow? The child rises early in the bright summer morn and is very happy, but when his parents don't allow him to go outside and play and to be in the midst of nature and enjoy watching the birds, the bees, the flowers, and to see all of nature's beauty, then he feels very sad. Now, read the following poem and compare it with the schoolboy. The One Furrow. When I was young, I went to school with pencil and foot rule, sponge and slate, and sat on a tall stool at learning's gate. When I was older, the gate swung wide, clever and keen-eyed. In I pressed, but found in the mind's pride no peace, no rest. Then who was it taught me back to go, to cattle and barrow, field and plough, to keep to the one furrow, as I do now? This poem is written by S. Thomas. So I would like you to read it, understand it, and write what you think is the explanation of it. So, and here we have the other way round. There's just some this is to give you some food for thought. Quicksand works slowly. Quicksand is like, daldal, where you stand and you're pulled in, you're sucked in. So quicksand works very slowly, it pulls you in. There is no egg in eggplant, no ham in hamburger, and neither is there apple nor pine in pineapple. And boxing rings are, it is called a ring, but it's not a circular shape, but it is square. And they're just giving you the funny elements of the English language. There are noses. We say, no, I have a runny nose. I have a cold or a cough, and I have sneezing and a runny nose. So there are noses that run and feet that smell. When you're wearing shoes and socks continuously, then your feet tend to give out an odor, and that's why they call them smelly feet. So children, I hope you have understood this poem well. It is a short poem, but it talks a lot about, childhood and innocence, and how a child longs to be out in the open. He hates going to school because he feels he is trapped, he is caged like a bird. And so he longs for the open air, he longs to see the flowers, the birds, the bees, and so he feels as though that no one understands what all he is going through, and he thinks that how do my parents, how do the teachers expect me to bloom and like to bear fruit in my life when I am treated like a caged bird. I have no freedom to do what I would love to do. And so when a child is in such a situation, how do the grown-ups or elders expect him to bear fruit in his life and to do things that they expect him to do, when he is the least interested in lessons, in what the teacher is trying to teach him? So children, read this poem and write down the question answers that are given after that. Now another thing I would want to draw your attention to is the rhyme scheme of the poem. So here in the first line we have morn, that is A, then tree, that is B. Then morn rhymes with horn, so A, B, A. Then tree rhymes with me, so we have A, B, A, B, and company, so that is C. Then the next verse, morn, and then we have away and day. So again we have A and away, morn is A, then away is B, then morn and outworn rhymes again with A, B, A. Away and day rhyme, so A, B, A, B, A, B, and C. So the rhyme scheme is A, B, A, B, C. Then sit and hour, bower and shower, sit and hour. So A, B, sit and delight, A, B, C, and D. And again D, bower and shower rhyme. So it's a rhyming poem which has a rhyme scheme. So joy and annoy rhyme, so A, B, A. Then sing and wing, so we have A, B, C. So that is the rhyme scheme of the poem. Now let us look at the last verse. O father and mother, nipped and stripped, so again A, B, A. Then away and day rhyme, so we have A, B, C, and the last is joy and appear. So these are just two lines, so A and B. So this is a very lyrical poem. It is a poem with a definite rhyme scheme, and there are 16 lines in all. So thank you and have a nice day.